Welcome, and thank you for joining us today. We are here to talk about leadership. We are Mainline Executive Coaching ACT. It's the funniest irony, isn't it? Leaders know you got to act, but sometimes you just don't. Sometimes you just walk away and not take a look at it, not have to deal with it. And sometimes we think we're doing stuff when all we're really doing is just pedaling in place. It's the truth, isn't it? We're just on the hamster wheel. This time we're going to be talking about something that's really, I think, hits home with a lot of folks. And it's about the idea of self-improving your own leadership skills just by reading books or listening to audible books. Does that really work? Does that really take? I'm going to set up this way. Were you ever one of those kids that you'd see a model like a chip or a car, really cool car or something, just, man, that is so cool. You'd get the model, but you'd never actually assemble it. You just kind of leave it in the box because, I don't know, I don't want to screw it up. I don't want to mess it up. And I was kind of the other way. I was the kid that was like, okay, let me get it. And I really would screw it up completely. I was not good at that stuff at all. Man, I had some friends that were really good at it. They were absolutely amazing. So let's take a look at it. Do you read leadership books? Do you listen to them? Do you read articles about leadership development? Do you do all that stuff, but can you really bring it into your workplace? Okay, I'm here today. I'm Michael Bailey. This is Rich Barron, and we got a great friend with us, Dennis Pierce. Dennis, how are you?
Terrific. Thanks for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
You betcha. We love having you on with us. Okay, let's start rolling this out. Rich, you've been there. You know what this is about, dealing with people that, we think we know it, but we really don't. But getting into the actual mud and pit of the whole thing and actually doing the work, it's a little bit different. We deal with that all the time working with people. Open that up for us.
I got to tell you an experience, though. We had a garage spring that went bad, and I thought, I can do this. So I got on YouTube and watched a video, and that dang thing nearly killed me. It was one of the worst things that ever happened to me. But I think in my mind, this is cake. I can get this done. There's no problem here. And, I think the same thing goes for these mental models of ourselves. We read these self-help books. We read these leadership books. You go to the seminar, you drop a bunch of money there, and you buy the T-shirt and get the journal, and you head home, and you've got all this going on for you for a couple months. You're super excited. You're journaling every day, and in about 3 months or so, you hit that wall, and you can't figure out why you haven't become that individual that you've envisioned was going to transform after you read the book and you went to the seminar and you did everything you did. And you know what? There are some phenomenal leadership books out there. And, I couldn't, there's no way I would discourage anybody from reading books. Read them. It's more than, more leadership books you can read. But the thing is, how are you going to really get to that next level? How are you really going to be that person you saw up on stage in the seminar? How are you going to be that next level coach just simply by reading the book? And unfortunately, we run into this all the time. Dennis, what's your experience on this?
Absolutely. I agree with you. Actually, you were generous by talking about 3 months in, you start looking back and kind of introspect, what kind of improvement have I seen or what transformation have I witnessed? I think statistics show that there are so many resolutions that are made the 1st of January every year. My wife is a fitness instructor, and December and January are through the roof. Her business booms every year by 30, 40%. But the majority of those she loses about 60% of those come into February, beginning of March, simply from the standpoint that people bought into it. They haven't necessarily practiced as they would. They haven't come. They don't even show up. Right. So because there isn't that accountability, there isn't that reinforcement. So I think absolutely. I think all of our clients, anybody that's in the coaching business understands we're advising, we're promoting, material, all types of literature, all sorts of feedback. But it really comes back to that accountability and the ability to reinforce that image of our client that they see of making strides, making improvements, and celebrating those wins along the way.
Yeah, it's really true. What's interesting about what we do here in leadership development is this. It's not just the information, though giving them information, our clients information, is a way to create focus on what it is that we're talking about and the direction that we're going. I think what's even more important than just the information is that relationship of trust where you have that person you can talk to. It's sounding board stuff. It's somebody you can ask questions to. You read something, I don't know what that means or what I do with it. And then having somebody there to encourage you. Lots of times saying, I don't need encouragement. The truth, that's just not true. I'm going to tell you right now, that is just not true. The fact of the matter is probably 95 to 98% of us all need someone nudging us or pushing us or giving a little, come on, just take it up. Let's go to the next level here. We all kind of need it because it's easy for us to just get complacent. That's just the fact. We need that sense. And so the accountability factor is one of those things that's important. However, what creates that legitimate accountability is the relationship that we create with the student, with the client that we're working at, that they trust us, they're willing to listen to us, they're willing to do new things, even though they've done it before and they failed. They're willing to do it now that there's somebody really working there with them. And again, it's kind of like, I'd make these messes of models and then I go show my, it's embarrassing, but it's true. And I go show these models to my friend Stefan, and he would just look at them like, what in the world is that, Michael? That's awful.
Well, think about that. So with the clients that we work with, we take an approach such that it begins with that inner core and taking a look inside. What is that vision that you see of yourself? And while we're working with the client, we're also garnering that 360 feedback, because we're all more effective, not by simply becoming the greatest leader that we want to be, but by that reinforcement, empowering those around us. So opening up that dialogue, opening up that channel of communication for continuous feedback, good and bad, right? So that we can find that what's working, what's not, and course correct as needed. So it comes back to not only that one-on-one relationship, but that environment that is within your direct span of control and over your direct influence every day. So we want to be, a rising tide raises all boats, right? So the more that we have that, there's other opportunities, new opportunities, exponential opportunities for feedback and continued improvement.
Yeah.
The point is, these people too that are, everything you guys are saying is spot on. These guys that are reading these books and they're starting to journal and they're starting to really make it a difference. Don't give up. Just by doing that, you have improved. You've taken that next step. But the problem is how do you know how far you've come? Where was your starting point? Where are you now? If you find yourself doing that, reach out to someone, like ourselves, who have the tools to help you, understand exactly what you're doing, why you're doing it, and help you get to that next level. The simple, this mental model of yourself improving and becoming, that great person is phenomenal. And what you've done is you've taken that step to change part of your life and altering your habits and doing all these things. The point is you really need someone like Michael said, and like Dennis said, to really nudge you, to coach you, to give you those pointers, to help you to that next level. Just because you hit a wall and you don't see the improvement in yourself, that doesn't mean you haven't improved. You just need someone to help you along, understand that.
There's a lot of talk these days, guys, about the concept of transparency. And I'm going to tell you, if you've ever really been somebody who's put yourself in a position to really be open, really be transparent, that is not an easy thing. That is not an easy place to walk into. And since there is so much of that talk going on, I'm gonna suggest this. If you're struggling with that, just kind of saying, okay, I'm going to open up, I'm going to, really reveal about, what I'm thinking about the business, where I want to take the business, how it is I'm working, how it is I want you to work with me, and how I want to be able to work with you. That's not an easy thing for most people at the CEO level. They are not like deep reflective thinking. They just don't go in that direction. So if it's not an easy place to go to, what do you need to do? You need to practice. And I'm going to suggest that one of the best places that you can begin practicing is with your own coach, with your own personal person who's helping you develop your leadership, because they're going to tell you things that you may not always want to hear, that you might find a little bit uncomfortable. but we don't judge you. We're just going to lay it out there. This is what it is, and then help you walk into it, help you to start see what it is, so that you start accepting yourself rather than fighting and pretending or playing that you have to be somebody else, or you have to pretend you're somebody else. So this notion of transparency, I want to get this, is it's not something you do automatically. It is a practice, and there's no better place to practice than with somebody you trust and is on your side.
Absolutely.
Yeah, think about that when you're lifting. If you're going to push yourself to new limits, it's usually safest to have a spotter. If you're doing that on your own, and you decide to push that, it can become dangerous, right? So the scariest place can be between our own ears. So having a sounding board, and then again, same thing, having the ability to receive that feedback and somebody to continue pushing as you're moving through this journey. It is a journey. And you think about that when you have the ability to share in that experience. I mean, the growth potential is limitless, right? And so but it comes back to somebody who's going to inspire us, someone who's going to take that and lend context throughout that journey. And at the same time, then, challenging us. We're creatures of habit. And too often we take the path of least resistance. And somebody's going to, maybe that is the path that we choose to pursue momentarily. But along with a coach, we're going to actually take that, and they're going to hold us to, that honest feedback and potential recommendations or suggestions, so that we don't lose sight of that better self, that greater self, and that continuous improvement. So I continue to bring this back to, fitness, because we need to take care of ourselves if we're going to take care of others as leaders, right?
Right.
So first and foremost, it comes back to having that buddy system in place and having somebody who's going to help us along that way.
Habits can wreck you. It's no more difficult to understand than that. Habits will wreck our dreams, our aspirations, our commitments to change. They will simply wreck you. And a coach who's been there and has done that before with a lot of other people, they will help you avoid the wreck. They'll help you get around it. They know the strategies, the tactics, what it is to do. And because they know you and understand you, they're going to be able to help you make that very personalized and customized to what it is that you need to do. What are your thoughts on that, Rich?
It's interesting you say habit. It's been said that, we don't control our future. We control our habits, and our habits control our future. It's our habits that predict our future. I got to say something. There's a lot to what you guys are saying about having that buddy system, that's someone that is there to push you. Someone's there to help you, through some of those tough points. One of the things that I'm seeing that we have seen, and we talk about these mental models, is these individuals that go out to want to get these self-help books or read these things on leadership and go to the seminars and whatever with a vision. And some of these people, we've all three of us that talk to these people have this vision of being in the C-suite, being, because it's, the big house, the fancy car, the great salary. Here's the thing. Leadership and a title is only peripherally related to leadership. It doesn't mean that if you read these books and you attain that level, that's going to be all about happiness and you're going to be that, great person, that mental model of yourself. The first thing is you need to be happy in your own skin now. You need to be content with who you are. You need to be vulnerable and open up and have the courage to really, like you mentioned earlier, Dennis, look inside, that inner core. Who am I really? What are my real strengths and what are my gaps? What weaknesses do I have? And getting pointed out those weaknesses is not an easy thing. It really isn't. Matter of fact, we were doing one recently with an individual, an MLEI, and Michael and I, and was pointing out some potential derailing characteristics in this assessment. And suddenly it's like someone flipped on a light switch and this guy went from mild-mannered to, the Hulk. You could see it changing. You could see it rising in his face, turning red. And we just hit that button. And then he realized what had happened. And I think after that, it was a little easier conversation, but be happy with who you are now, and have those goals. Those goals might take time too. You know, you're not going to hit it in 3 months. You're not going to hit it in however long it is, but simply with this mental model of yourself.
Well, I offer my clients a guarantee, and I guarantee them that the goal that they set at the beginning of our engagement is not the vision that they're going to see at the end.
Right.
Because as we get closer to that vision, we're going to continue to push.
Yeah.
It's going to continue to evolve. And what we thought we wanted today is going to change in 30, 60, 96 months, whatever. Because a true coach and a true partner is going to continue to push. Once you get to a point where you're lifting 200 pounds, you're not going to go, this is great, now I'm going to plateau at 200 pounds forever. No, you're going to want to get to 225. You're going to want to get to 275. Right. Same thing. So the world is changing, business is changing, you're changing, your needs, your vision, and your aspirations are going to evolve. So that's the beauty. The self-improvement book, the self-help book, I'm going to open it, I'm going to close it, I'm going to finish it. I'm going to say, this is what I want. And I'm going to get stuck on that. No one's going to continue to push me. So that's the coaching system. Any successful formula out there is going to require that type of feedback and that type of responsibility and accountability.
And what's interesting about that, guys, is that sometimes we may think about that, well, that's kind of new and different and all kind of stuff. I'm going to tell you, all great things have done because there was somebody else there beside you, helping you along, tutoring you, mentoring you, showing you how it's done, encouraging you. Nobody does it by themselves. Nobody does it by themselves. We all need help. Even the greatest sports figures, actors, writers, whoever did you want to talk about, anybody in politics, even, I mean, truly, that there's not many of them out there now, but when there have been great politicians out there, they've been mentored by other people, whether it was teachers and universities or something, but nobody does it alone. And if you're looking to make that journey happen for yourself now, give us a call. Dennis, how are they going to get hold of you? You're a great person to talk to. How do they do that?
They can contact me at dpierce@intelligentleadershipec.com. There's the website. Thank you very much. All my information is available on my website, dennispierce.intelligentleadershipec.com. And my cell phone's there. Call me, whatever I can do. If there's something that I've said that inspires you, please reach out.
Or even if something he said that's made you mad, he's more than happy to talk to you.
I accept and I own all feedback. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Dennis, you know, I got to point this out before we're done. You've had over 30 years, national, international leadership. Mm-hmm. And so I tell you what, every time we got Dennis on, we're talking to him, I learned something from Dennis. It's always a good thing to talk to Dennis and get his outlook on things. And not only that, Dennis is from the great Northwest, the land of flag and coffee. And I love it that he's always in uniform.
That's right. Well, it's fitting attire year round up here. So it's even when it's 80 degrees, it's only a moment away from being 50s.
Yeah.
I want to see your axe. Got an axe.
Yeah. No, we've moved to chainsaw. The very first time that we went to cut our own Christmas tree, I moved from Chicago. So we come out here and I said, we're going to go chop down, we're going to go get our own Christmas tree, chop down a Christmas tree. And I went out and I bought an axe and I show up to the Christmas tree farm with this axe. They all got a kick out of it. Said, well, you can take your axe out and do your thing, or you can borrow this little bow saw. That's right. I'm going to cut this thing down. I took one whack and said, give me the saw.
Somebody was coaching you.
That's right. I had an expert in the field. So I appreciate all that you guys do. You have a ton of terrific information on your podcast. And again, I truly appreciate the opportunity to come and share some thoughts today.
Thank you. So kind of you. Rich, take us home.
All right. Well, once again, we are at the end of another episode of Mainline Executive Coaching ACT. Executive Leaders ACT ILEC.com. That's our website. You can reach us there. Book some time with us. Come talk to us. Let's sit down and really, see what makes you tick and see if we can help you get to that next level. So again, a shout out to everybody who's out there listening to us, supporting us. and the continued support and downloads of our episodes. We truly appreciate your support and comments, and keep it up. So until next time, have a great night, be safe, and take care.
All the best.